This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Has everyone had the opportunity to review the minutes?
Oh, yeah.
And
From our October
they're
27th
here,
meeting?
I have, but they're not printed, they're not colored.
Anybody want to approve the minutes? That's what she's trying to do.
You didn't hand them out.
I approve this 10.
But you emailed us, didn't you, Josh? After our meeting? Okay,
I did.
so you have to go back to October 27th meeting. Josh emailed us the minutes to our meeting, and are they not a part of the packet though? There we go. You have a motion to approve them?
Where's my thing?
Can I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the last meeting?
You have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Candy. So we'll just move on through the agenda and go ahead and discuss our old business, which the first item is our yard of the month discussion. I think what we were left off on with that was trying to decide if the one yard that was nominated were we going to just go ahead and move forward with that yard, or were we going to just kind of like announce a campaign or something like that? And also we were trying to decide on the signage, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Is that something?
Yeah, so that's the sign that we have. And I think the conversation dropped off on, would we want to allow for other homes to know that we are starting this back up as a board, and allow for others to be nominated through a platform, whether it be, which we didn't decide on a platform. I think that's some of the discussion we need to have today. So how would we receive nominations and things like that? So if anybody want to chime in on that, so we can make a decision on the yard of the month and how we want to proceed with starting that up again.
Do we know how it was done last time?
Huh?
Do we know how it was done last time?
I don't recall like 100%. No, Paisley was a part of it. Like honestly, when I got on the board, which has been some years now, it is when it kind of started to phase out. I wish like Paisley or someone was here to kind of speak to it, but I believe that there was just like publication, I think in the paper and also in the newsletter with the city, that went out asking for nominations, and those nominations were received through our information. It was through Andrew, and then they came back to our board and we voted on it. So we could use
The board?
Yeah.
The board voted? No. The board then voted.
Yeah,
Back
this
in
one.
the day.
Could it go through what's her face that took Andrew's place? I can't remember. The Haynes girl that came.
Shanna. Yeah.
Shanna, thank you. I got all the connections, but no name came. Could it,
No meeting.
I don't know.
Yeah, she worked those on everything like
Yeah.
that.
So I don't know, I mean, if we should have an email address created where they can email the nominations to, or would you rather have like a drop-off location? Or,
Well, we need both because not everybody does.
I
yeah,
think something that is more accessible, like an email or something like that, makes more sense.
Where would they drop it off? Somewhere in the city building or
Is it our?
Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah, they drop it off to the chamber.
So we just have to make a decision on that, and then also when do we want to start? We were wanting to start before Christmas, based off of our last discussion at the last meeting.
so we're gonna do this monthly or seasonally?
Well, I think we discussed starting off seasonally and then maybe
Do
building
both.
up to monthly to
Okay.
get the,
We'll do both, we discussed having both of them to where the, like Christmas time, somebody decorates for the yard, their house, all that kind of stuff. We still have the monthly one too on top of that.
right,
Have
yeah.
both.
And then what is the, like, you just get recognition? Or you put the sign in the yard?
But you put the sign in the yard and then also too, it was like, you used to go in the newspaper too.
Oh, okay, very good.
And yeah, and then I think like they used to have like the board members take pictures with the person in front of the yard, or just little different things like that. At one point we talked about having like coming up, will be an expense, so we will have to have some type of sponsorship or something, but having like a wind chime that's like Arc City branded or something that we can also give the person who gets it. And then after those seasons, yard of the season, there was a yard of the year at the end of all of that. So it's just, this discussion is about, deciding on how it's going to look, and when we're going to start. And if we are wanting, I think we need to just probably just start with the yard sign and then maybe have further discussion on whether or not we're going to implement, that wind chime or whatever other incentive. But I think the yard sign and the paper recognition is enough to start with, since we're just now getting back to doing this.
That's all they used to do anyway, just in the paper. They didn't do anything else.
Well, I make a motion that we recognize yards, starting with yard of the season and have the, another in the paper, drop off nominations or email nominations to the designated site.
Who's gonna have received that email?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. So who, like, do we want, I mean, is this something that maybe we could pull in?
Well, if we have to vote on it, I guess, well,
Is this something that you guys think we should utilize, maybe something outside of ourselves, maybe like the Friends of Wilson Park's Facebook page where people can send nominations? Or do we want to just keep it strictly to a city email or the chamber?
my mind is the florists were all that way. I probably just think.
I think for staff, it would be easiest if it comes through email
Yeah,
or a drop off, either way.
Oh, but that's why I brought up Shannon. Could it go to her?
It could, but it could just easily come to us.
Okay.
That's fine.
Well, if someone could pick up the nominations that were dropped off, then they could email, we could just have somebody pick up the dropped off ones and then we can email it to everybody.
One way or the other, I can get it. If it ends up at my desk, I can get it out to you.
Would be very comfortable to build a box and put it in the water department for yard of the month or the season.
I mean, just a little box with a slot.
We could do that, just have it at the water department. That way we don't have to go to the chamber to pick it up. We can just pick it up and have it there and bring it to the meeting.
so what's our decision as far as how to filter these nominations?
Well, that's why I asked Connie if it'd be any big deal to make it. So we can do that.
Will the nomination involve a picture, or don't we have to go look at them?
You'd have to pick up 2 or 3 or all of you to go look at it and then make the decision.
Yeah, ideally, I'd have enough in advance so that everybody could go.
So once we know all of the nominees, then we can go around and look at them.
So if we're gonna,
You know, we could go around and look at them individually and then.
That's what I was
vote
gonna
the next
say.
week.
That's basically what I'm suggesting.
Yeah, you don't have to be a group.
And I can take pictures myself too and just have them there.
Then we get them by a certain date and then we vote on them at the next meeting.
Try to have the meeting the month before for the following.
Except we're only meeting quarterly, so that's not good.
Or if everybody
Or
just,
before
put down-
3 months, how's that?
if everybody just put their 1, 2, 3, and then you get them all together, the one that got the most number ones or whatever, so you wouldn't even have to get together and vote. You would
Right.
already
But let me bring this up real quick. Instead of doing the yard of the month, how about yard of the quarter? Because since we're meeting quarterly,
well, that's,
kind of season, right?
that's
Yeah.
what we're doing.
it'd be a little bit easier,
Yeah, that makes
for
sense.
everybody, really.
That's going to depend too on how many you actually get.
Yeah,
It'll be very slow at first. I think.
Yes.
you might only get 1 a year.
We'll all have to vote on it, so
Well-
let's start with
That's another thing. Maybe you guys can nominate your own. True. If it comes down to
So
it.
we're gonna move forward with the yard of the season, but are we trying to decide to have a home nominated for like this season for before the end of December? So that's one of the things we talked about the last meeting, and if we are, how are we going to kick that off? Are we going to post some, like when will be our start and when will be our cutoff for that for this month? Because we will not meet again until, when is our next meeting?
Um,
Are we just skipping past December, skipping past winter? You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Next one's January.
January 26th is the next meeting.
So, has there been a mailing already from the city that I don't know, I don't get my utility bill. It's all electric form for me or paperless. So I don't know. I mean, I know that one of the decisions that we were going to try to make is what are we doing for December as far as yard of the season?
As far as what?
Yard of the season.
December. What should we do for this month?
It's December 1st.
I think
Because Christmas,
too late.
yeah, it's kind of,
I think,
maybe too late for this year.
I'd say go for something in
So
yard
do
of
we
the,
want to just kick this off when we are doing our spring? When we were doing like our spring stuff, all of the stuff we're going to be doing during springtime, do you want to just kick this off at that point and then just reconvene? Or, I mean, because it's something that we have to, if we're meeting once per quarter, we have to really get a solid plan on how we're going to move forward. Or every meeting, we're going to be pushing these ideas back every time. Because
how long will the sign remain in place?
it can remain a month, it can remain 3 months if we do this season.
Just leave it till the next time we move somewhere.
Or until somebody vandalizes it.
Yeah, we probably should do that one.
I'd say no more than 30 days, be the max on it.
okay,
So will one of us be responsible for actually planning the
Decide. Ideally, it would be nice for y'all to pick somebody to do that or take turns doing it. Too.
take turns doing what?
With the homeowner.
will they be in the picture or just the yard?
Just the yard. They never had the whole lot.
Well, I mean, if we have, I can hardly hear some of what you guys are saying, but it sounds like the majority feels like it's kind of too late to do something for the winter month. And since January is winter as well, but it seems like we just need to, and we can't have these discussions via email, Josh, or it will be considered a quorum.
Yes, there's ways to do it through email.
Okay. So is it a good idea to say that we will just start yard of the season in the spring? I'm trying to get a feel of what decision we're making from this conversation.
Yeah, I think spring.
Okay. So do we want to just make a decision and make a motion that we start our yard of the season program or project starting in the springtime?
Okay, I motion that we start the yard of the season in the spring.
Question.
Sure.
Since I'm only here as a representative from the Handicap Accessibility Board, do I have a motion or can I do any of that or just? No.
Not officially.
That's what I thought. That's why I wasn't.
It's like us, we can't because we're latest.
Right. Well, that's the reason I wasn't saying anything, but then I thought, well, maybe I'm.
Nothing wrong with being a part of the discussion.
You can always go. "Well, sure,
There has to be a board member.
I'll do this.
There you go.
Did we get a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Our next agenda item is the city interest discussion, which I don't know if are we just picking up from like our discussion back? I don't remember when the last time we talked about this.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't hear you guys either for some reason, unless one person is speaking, but the city entrance discussion.
Oh, yeah, so I might pass these out, or Josh,
I got one.
go for it.
Before we go on to that, shall we vote on how long we want to leave the sign there at the location?
Probably just 30 days.
A week, 2 weeks, whatever you guys want to do, but we need to know.
Yeah,
I say I make a motion, we leave it, for a month.
Yeah, 30 days. I agree.
I'll second that.
Just that way we've got it documented.
Okay, so with the city entrance sign, this is a proposal we got from, okay, I always forget their names.
Sign Solutions.
Well, yeah, but what is, well, who is it that has this? Carroll, yeah,
Rob,
Rob Carroll. They actually put this together, so they designed it. I told them, I said, we have to really lean on them for their expertise on the sign size, because obviously I'm no expert on how big the sign needs to be in order, and like how big the letters need to be, so that when we're driving down the street, we can clearly see what that says versus a sign that's too small. So this is their expert opinion. There's been some discussion that 35 feet, 17 tall, is entirely too big.
Wow.
So I don't know the right answer to that. I would say, maybe a second opinion, or several opinions would be nice to have.
You know what we could do? We could make a mock one and print it out and just like some kind of board. And then put it there and see what we think, rather than just abstractly try to pick a size. We actually looked at some other signs, saw how they were, or made up our own little mock sign to do, actually put it there and see how we feel about that size.
Where all are they? Is it just one or?
No, so there will be 3 of them. So one on the south end of town, basically right in front of the Rivers Eagle area. So it's kind of right in that median area.
Is that in the park area?
Yeah, the city owns that
Yes.
anyway.
So there's already a section there for it, so that would be cleared out, and then this side would go there. And then on the east side, it's basically right in front of the country club. And then on the north side, and this is kind of something else I'd like to address. So on the north side, it's actually right now, like right in front of that Casey's, so before Skyline Road. And I would like to see if maybe there's another space that we could move that back to where you enter the bypass. So that before you enter the bypass, you have the welcome to our city.
Either way they go, you're gonna already see it.
Yeah, so I don't know if that's a possibility,
Talk to the
and
state on that.
Well, if they're taking the block out, they don't want to go to our city.
right, but I mean, I do think it would be nice to have, I don't know, I mean, so either way, it kind of makes sense, I feel like, just in my mind, that they get
Maybe
welcome to
if they're
perform.
not, and it's like to go to our city.
Yeah, yeah,
They see that wonderful.
right.
But KDOT would have to say where it would be in the vision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the state would have to definitely approve anything like that.
Then you're talking about one out here also coming in.
Yeah, and then there's one on the, sorry, have you guys ever looked at the one in Oxford? I need to go look at that one again.
Yeah, that is a,
I'm
that's
thinking it's about half the site.
that's a good sign though. It's a nice,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably 20 feet by 8 feet, maybe. Not nearly
You
so.
might be able to get more than 3, you might be able to get 4. I should say.
Yeah, you're fine, me either, I'm not on the thing. No, but you're right.
You know, because that way you have one coming from north, south, east, and west. You've got all 4 coming in New York City.
Well, we wouldn't want 4, we would want all the signs, this is just, they would all look the same.
yeah, I would like them
basically.
to all be the same because right now it's just,
Yeah, yeah,
The Rotary.
Take a look at the one in
for one
Oxford.
of them.
It's nice.
They would, so that's another thing, so, let me finish. So on the west side, basically where we were considering, so right now, the sign for the west is absolutely awful. Like, it's like up on a hill, there's trees, you can't see it, it's completely out of the way. Yeah, so we would like to maybe eliminate that and put a sign over the walkway where the walkway is. And maybe hang like a welcome to Arch City on both sides of that. And I think that that's possible. Again, that's a KDOT thing. We'd have to go back to them to see, you know, if that's something we could do. If so, you know, what all that would look like. So as far as like the material on this side, it is concrete. So it's all concrete. And then the orange pot that you have here is actually the brick, which the city has the brick from like the brick roads. And then the thing running through it is actually supposed to be a river.
I think that was great.
That's what I know.
Okay, so I was really nervous that it was gonna look like a crack through the cement.
No, I
And
think
when like nobody could tell what it actually is.
Well,
And
they'll
then-
make them.
I actually thought that's pretty cool. They made an antique.
Oh. I thought of it, I knew that one.
Oh my God.
I thought of the F&L maps, yes, they all show that.
They do.
For me,
That could be the.
it looks like the bottom tip of Mexico.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It don't look like a river, it looks like the bottom.
So, and he said like they could probably paint it like blue, like
Yeah,
where the
that's-
sand is. So we'd actually
Oh,
notice
that'd be
it
nice.
as a river. But the catch to that is, he says that will eventually wear off. So it's gonna cost some money to maintain if we were to do the color of the river. Which to me, I feel like, yeah, why would we not want that a part of it? Because it really is our town. And then I love the bricks and I love the cement. If you see like the Cali Tiger, that is essentially what the letters would look like on the sign. And we don't have to say founded in 1870. It could just simply,
71.
Well, for Kansas City.
it could simply just say welcome to Arch City. Or, you know, to me, I would maybe put something in there like the town between two rivers, so you can actually like identify the river.
Or, you know, you could put a little dot or a star or something there for our city located within the.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, I like that. Put a star there and you have the river.
Basically, that is Old City right there on the rivers.
Yeah.
So I don't love that founded in 1870. I would almost rather have
Who cares?
a town between two rivers and start maybe establishing that as like a brand for our city. But I mean, really, it's discussion. It's whatever we want it to say, and we could have each sign say something different. Because right now, this is the one sign that would be for every entrance, apart from the one west of town.
Do they give you a price on this?
So yes, that's the other thing. The cost is going to be $40,000 to $50,000 per sign.
That's them sitting on it.
That is all local resources. That is them doing the work.
Maybe we'll go a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
How much for a 24-inch by 24-inch sign?
And a magnifying glass.
Well, the thing is,
Will visual of the signs be sent in email?
that's like 20 by 8 foot. And that would probably be plenty big.
What was that, Robin?
I just left it in the chat, but like, I can't see that the sign was not included in our packet, so.
I'll send you an email.
Okay, and I think we have a quorum if I drop off, because there's 3 of them there, right?
So if we
Yes.
put that in half.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be dropping off. I kind of for the whole meeting today, so.
What wouldn't you want to put in our city? I love history. I love going into town knowing that when it was established.
And I think that's pretty common.
You can put
But you can put it like at the bottom.
instead of found.
Make it a little
Just put
smaller.
Yeah, just put smaller, but the.
I like the established, like the EST too.
Yeah.
You could shorten that.
It could just be down in the corners.
Or you could put out 1870, that's it.
1870 people will know. Yeah.
Yeah.
We could just
Because also too, when the people
establish
see that,
between two rivers.
if there are like the Commerce Department, you apply for grants and stuff, they're gonna notice that. And they're gonna start looking for buildings and things, historical value. And for me, I mean, if that's what I was doing, that's what I was looking for. I wouldn't want everything modern.
No, definitely not.
I mean, we're still brick, still Oz, you know?
Well, that's the thing.
We can
If you're sitting here.
Yeah, we
you
should
save a
have
lot of money.
designation for downtown stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we could do it like that.
Well, for what this is worth, I met this guy the other day who was from Texas and he lives here. And I started asking him, well, you know, what drew you or why are you here? He said, well, he first was just here with the railroad and it was just temporary. But he said, I fell in love. How could you not fall in love with a place with 2 rivers and the hill? But that was the first thing he mentioned was the 2 rivers.
Yeah.
So I do think people, and it used to be a slogan that we had.
Really?
2 rivers and 2 rivers co-op.
Yeah.
It kind of used to be a catchphrase or something for the town. So I think the star might do it, but if that was painted blue and there was a star, that would surely give that impression because you have to pay more the more words you get on there.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing. If you put when it was founded and town between 2 rivers, you got a whole lot of printing that's going to run the price.
But
So if we painted blue, we are saying they're rivers. So that
Right.
would be, I mean, I like the words, but I don't think it's necessary considering the price. And also, it focuses on our city's future, which is S&O. So,
There are grants out there through the Kansas Commerce Bureau that you can apply for stuff like this.
For the signs.
Yeah, so if you go to, I think it's Kansas. I'll have to give you I'll send you the address, but you can still apply for December's, you can apply in January. It's for cities who don't have the funds to
that's,
complete projects or to continue on projects. And low income and stuff like that. I'll send you
I
the,
would think we have.
Well, yeah,
We need to check into that.
the number of kids on.
when I go home, I'll send her the. give me her
Yeah,
information.
just gonna send it to me and Josh.
Yeah, in fact, if he goes on the computer, he can probably see. But it's-
Maybe you should be part of this committee as well.
Yeah, I'm doing a good deal.
Yeah, you would.
Talk a lot like you said, but anyway.
So, and then the second, I mean, so my question is to you guys too. I mean, there's a lot we need to discuss, but do we want to get another estimate from, and if we do, then now we're going to be looking at Wichita. We're not going to be looking at local resources. So when I kind of talked to Randy about this, his biggest push was, I want to build it here locally, but
Yeah,
$40,000 to $50,000 is a lot of money. So,
it don't hurt to get a second bid, to keep the first bid honest.
If you're gonna go look at Oxford, is it Oxford? Yeah,
Yeah, Oxford.
Oxford. Anyway, does anybody know anyone there that we could ask about who did theirs, or
My niece lives there.
could you see if you could find out? Because
She's heavy into the Oxford.
it is a nice looking sign,
It is.
maybe it's a little cheaper.
I've never-
Also, too, you might even think about asking like days, monuments, they doing.
Yeah, they might, I don't know what they do.
Yeah, he lives
Probably be a lot cheaper than stone.
Tell me the cost again, is that per sign?
Yeah,
yeah.
Then we want to check into the.
That's not bad. I honestly figured it was looking at 1,000 per sign.
all I know is the signage we have now is pretty sorry, but spending that kind of money on signs, I don't know how you could justify that when we have so many.
Well, and I think we would have to do some fundraising for sure. And yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot. We have to ask for donations. Okay. I
I
was
think
trying
we
to
could get
find,
some Burford money if we make it into an art project.
there you go. So the guy that's like doing the sandblasting, there's two different looks that you can get for the sign, and one of them is kind of like, you can see where he's already sandblasted it. You can see like kind of the holes and like the natural state of the stone or the,
Aggregate.
yeah, and then the other one is like smooth. So
Is one cheaper than the other? Same.
but I personally really like the smoother surface. I feel like it might look a little bit cleaner.
It'll eventually weather anyway.
Yeah,
Well, the thing is, on a smooth surface, it's easier to attach letters to. If you don't have an even surface, the lettering is going to be harder to attach to, too, so it's going to be easier than the sign.
and then they were gonna use the limestone is the kind of the light yellow. Mhm.
I like the idea of using the bricks and the limestone from here.
Yeah.
What's the yellow line?
That's the limestone.
Oh,
That's gonna be like a ledge.
Yeah.
Am I right?
there's just.
What are you doing?
Look at the top. So that light fixture to the wall is 20 feet.
Really?
Yeah, the one right above, almost above Connie, that's this way, that's 20 feet long. So you take two of these, four of these, 2, 4, 6, 8. From that tile there to the end of the window darkening there, that's 8 feet. And that's how big a 8 by 20 foot sign would be.
That seems big enough to me.
Just give you kind of a visual.
Well, I think we would need something wider than that for all the lettering, maybe.
Not necessarily.
No.
I mean,
Kansas City's a long name.
well, yeah. I mean, 20 feet, yeah, they could get it in there pretty easily, I think.
Well, I think underneath it, we need to give the pronunciation.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna say it's Arkansas City.
I know, I think that too.
You know, we're
Just
just
put an
going
R.
R, T,
Oh, just smell it today.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
guys think?
About how
Do
big
we,
that sign would be.
I mean,
I think he was gonna
do you
say
like
that.
it, first of all? Is it enough that we should look at, an outside another bid to see what it might consider, or what it might come up with? Or do we not like the design, we want, maybe do something different?
The prices. Give it.
Well, we're looking at something that's almost half the size of what they suggested. So it's got to change the price quite a bit,
Yeah.
unless working bigger is easier for them. But
Well, I know that one in Oxford's not this size, it's a lot smaller.
Of course, Oxford's way shorter than our Kansas City.
It is, but you can still get all that in there.
And that was my question, is how big does each letter need to look so you can actually read it when you're driving down the highway?
Program.
Inch and a half.
Inch and a half, right?
You've got better eyesight than I do.
Yeah,
Dash,
probably about an inch or so, 10 inches, I would say.
backslash.
well, the welcome
See,
to can be
it's
pretty
backslash.
small because I think they're gonna.
They already know
Yeah,
you're.
they got that fault anyway.
But it's, I mean, to be,
So I can have Susie, my niece, go over there and she'll do those letters in Oxford and see how big those are.
And see who made it.
I'll ask her that too.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, does Oxford have like a city manager that way? I don't even know.
I don't know if they have administrator or manager.
that's what they've been.
Keep going down.
On the way.
I'll ask Susie, she lives in Litchfield. She's Mrs. Kravitz, so the name.
And when you go on the first day.
She don't know who Mrs. Kravitz is. She's-
No, it's too young.
I mean, which,
I asked a guy the other day, he lives across from one of the blessing boxes that I always put food in, and I said, who do you see? I said, are you the Mrs. Kravitz in your neighborhood? Can you tell me who's getting the food out of this box? It's empty every time you go.
yes.
And he did, he said,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, this car and that person and whatever, and I said, you are the Mrs. Kravitz, and he's like, you have to be old to know who that was.
Yeah.
Gladys, wasn't that her name?
Yep.
Gladys
Mrs.
Kravitz.
Kravitz,
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the new one that's got, whatever her name is, she was married to Tom Hanks.
The new one, I think.
Yeah. As a new Bewitch.
You're kidding, I
It
did not
came
know that.
out 2 or 3 years ago.
I didn't know that.
There's a Mrs. Kravitz on that one.
I just.
I'm familiar with this program, this CDBG, which is.
Yeah. Anyway, they had one
Like, if we go
like 2 months ago,
like
we
that.
met the person,
I didn't ever get to
and I
talk.
told the mayor, but.
Do you get to talk with this? You don't want to?
I just kick back.
We might be able to get some.
Oh,
All right, I think that's, so I guess we can table this till next meeting or whatever, and I'll look at getting another bid.
But I agree, Randy would want to keep it local, and that's the type of guy he is.
I do too.
I would too, but it don't hurt to get another bid. That way, they, if they're $10,000 per sign, we go to Rock Carroll and say, hey, this is the bid from this guy in Wichita. Can you help us out?
Yeah,
It's part of it too.
Well, it is town too.
and I mean, I think, to your guys' point, another opinion on the size would be nice. And that's why I almost was wondering, like, if KDOT has somebody who says, hey, this is actually really what's.
They got regulations, what you put out there.
But we can all start looking when we drive into a town
Yeah,
and see what they have and even take some pictures.
That's one thing, we'll have to run this all through KDOT too, because they might have regulations of what size sign you can actually have.
I'm sure they will if we do it out there by.
But anything that's KDOT, highway, they will.
Yeah.
so then do we want to ask them about moving the sign area on the north side? Okay,
See if they say.
so then we need to ask KDOT about that, and then about hanging a sign on that walkway.
And that
And
wouldn't be one of the 4 that we're paying for, because that you can't hang cemented brick in.
Yeah, that'd just be like
But a banner would last a day
Yeah.
and this wind.
so what kind of sign do you want over that wall?
I don't know, I haven't even talked to anybody about that. I talked to them a little bit about it, and I'm sure they could probably make some sort of like metal sign.
I was gonna say, what is the guy at, what is his name, the Ironworks guy that does all the,
Welding.
used to be with Bryant's or. with Bryant's.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I wonder if he might want to do something like that to put on the bridge.
To ask him.
Mhm. Yep.
Can
See
you
what
do
he
a like
thinks.
community spirit sign, like, I know a lot of people don't like it, but bulldog, tiger, just one sign, just,
That's what it was before, and it was so convoluted.
Yeah.
I would say no, personally, just because last time there was like all these different circles and they all indicated,
terrible
you can't read it when you're running, when you're rolling 60, 70 miles an hour, you can't read all of it.
because when I envision a sign, I think Arkansas, welcome to Arkansas City, big flat in the center, bulldog way over here, tiger way over here, that's it, nothing else, that's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking like monument or anything, that just one particular sign, because this town lacks spirit. I'm sorry, but it does. There's nothing there. My kids, when they go to school, they track them wearing green instead
I
of
don't think
purple.
that's fine.
I mean, just
I
big,
did wrestling back in the day.
wearing pink shoes and everything, but whatnot, what your school colors are. I'm sorry, but this town lacks that. And if the city itself, the beautification committee even helps out there, brings that back, you know, because this is our city. I wasn't born and raised here, but I love this town. You know, I was born and raised in Wellington. They got spirit. They painted their water tower Crusaders, you know, you come into that town and it just like stands at you. Isn't the city paint other than blue? And why is everything blue? Why isn't anything purple?
To match the sky.
Because it's water, it's blue.
Yeah, you know, blue is Winfield.
Yep.
We had some discussions about
Yeah.
why
Yeah,
our looking was
at
blue and
least
purple.
the sanitation department kind of half-assed tried and put purple and gray.
There's a lot of like K-State signs around. I see those.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just throwing ideas out there. Like I said, I'm nobody, I'm just saying from an outsider's point of view, kind of sitting here, this town lacks spirit, it lacks anything.
The only thing you gotta remember too, though, is the more you put on a sign, the more it's gonna cost.
Right.
And, we're all gonna be on a budget on this thing, especially, if we gotta have fundraisers and everything else. If we get a grant, that's gonna help a bunch on it too. But everything we put it, now, if we have a bunch of money saved up and we do this stuff, that's great. But, hey, something's better than nothing. Well, look at it.
You get too many things going too. I just feel like it takes away from the main.
But that might be a really great idea for another area of our town. We need to maybe, you know, build that community spirit.
You know what I like? I like to go to Caldwell, and they have that kind of, like an inn.
Huge, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we could do something like that in town.
Yeah, that would probably be more of
You could
a
have your
Main Street
full garden.
project or something.
I just love going through
There,
there.
is it Stillwell or one of the little towns south of Overland Park, they have at both ends of the main street, so it would maybe be like from the bank corner, whatever
Like the historic district of our.
yeah, they would just have an arch
Yeah.
on both ends of town.
Yeah.
That's a nice touch.
And it does that, it makes you feel, like you come in and then you start to notice the flower pots and things. It's
Well,
like,
kind of like Stillwater, you know, you have like that area where it's just like jam packed with restaurants.
it
and
makes
people
it
are
feel like a
walking.
kind of a village
Yeah.
feel or a,
Yeah.
you know,
Hometown.
Yeah.
It's warm.
Yeah.
it is, it's warm and inviting to see that archway. It kind of
Is Robin still here?
Fundraisers.
defines the
Yeah,
space.
which I-
Fundraisers.
Hi, Robin.
We decorate the
She's
park.
She's gone.
She's got a little few irons in the fire.
You almost go.
By the way, all of you come to Eagles Nest on Saturday afternoon from 1 to 4.
The bar, oh, they closed that down a long time ago.
No, not the bar.
Okay, that's closed
They're trying to help families with their utilities this winter. We're trying to raise the money. So caroling for a cause at the Eagles Nest from 1 to 4 on Saturday.
You don't have to sing, because nobody.
You don't have to sing, just come and enjoy.
I was gonna say, if you want people to leave, I'll sing.
The Burford kids singers are gonna be, Gia Watson's bringing those kids up to sing, and I don't know what else, but please support.
Has anybody heard this lady sing? She's got a beautiful voice.
Oh.
Yep, yep.
Well,
So my granddaughter was up there with a dance team. You was singing before that.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I don't really sing anymore, but thank you.
I don't think I've
I love
ever heard
to
you
sing.
sing. I did not know that.
I used to sing a lot. I had a quartet and stuff, but I have COPD, so I don't sing as much as I used to because I can't breathe.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I love to sing. My brother Jim and I used to sing together quite a bit. But, and Ben
Yes,
too.
you
but-
have wonderful.
Yeah, he did. Anyway,
They
thank
asked me not to try out.
Fundraiser.
I'm not lying.
Borrow the Burford, and we invite like
It's
church
Johnson.
choir groups and Christmas carols or
She was
something.
good.
Something like that.
I don't know, but Roger was so in class.
So Debbie had a few other suggestions. If you guys don't mind, can I get off topic?
Sure.
Okay. So I love this idea, is maybe decorating Wilson Park more during the holidays with lights and making that a lot more welcoming for families to come and, and hang out at the
But
park.
here's where Bonnie gets
That's
thrown
what
in,
Bonnie
because
does.
I don't know if they have time to do it or resources.
Do we have time to do it? We're pretty busy.
Yeah, they won't have time to do it.
But you can get volunteers. I mean, I'm sure there's, no?
The professional volunteers.
Love the park.
I mean, I would even help volunteer.
Well, and, to her point is, maybe.
I'm into
so-
the park up to my neck.
You know what we found decorating the train?
Those flowers look great too.
Oh, that would be, thank you. That would be cute to decorate the train.
The only thing you
Decorate
gotta
the
remember,
train,
though, if you
decorate
put
their
up
sign, but
lighting,
maybe wrap around the pole.
extension cords and everything like that, it has to be weatherproof connection.
Right.
So whether it rains or snows, just a regular extension cord is not going to cut it.
But what if you, I'm sorry, what?
It's gotta be kid-proof.
Yeah,
Yeah,
kid can't unplug it,
well, if you just had spotlights
highlighted.
and then something sparkly or reflective.
And I think she was talking more of like where our downtown area is, we already have like the nativity scene out, I believe, like over by our skating, or what is that corner?
Ben Givens Park.
Yes. Okay, so there's already some, but if, maybe we could spread some of that out and have
Cram it together.
some additional like feature
I would
thingy,
love to
like
do
the
that.
Island of Lights almost, but like some holiday
Giant
things
bow.
throughout.
Yeah, even if something cheap, like she said, a giant red bow on the train.
And people
Yeah,
donate to that Island of
Put a
Lights
spotlight on
all the time. So if we could ask for donations,
it, highlight.
like Jody's dancing is in the Island of Lights. Okay, that's really great. I mean, but that's something that I would think they would maybe even want to have here in our city.
Have you been to this little sedan, the Hollow Park? I'm sorry, but if little sedan could do that to their tiny little park, it's awesome.
Yeah.
It was a tiny little park.
Well, it's a great little park anyway, if you've never been over there.
Yep.
It's very small, but it's just delightful. You feel like you walked into another fairy
Well, and I
tale.
think people love that too. So, I mean, we could definitely have it where you walk through and you see, and it's all donation based, like the Island of Lights. I mean, of course, the city probably fronts the bill for having those lights on, but like
They do.
the exhibits themselves are all donated.
Mhm.
And I think it's volunteers that go out there and set them up.
They do.
Well, it started with just a giant bow on the train with a spotlight on it, and then
we could,
Maybe we could get some interest generated from people.
on donating, so what do we
We
need?
can't, we're not
Back in
going
the
to
day.
jump in and decorate the whole park.
Back when I was a kid,
Realistic.
down through Summer Street, there on each corner was a tinsel or whatever you want to call it, from one corner to the other. 2 small bells on each side and then one gigantic bell that was like almost 4 feet, 5 foot tall on every intersection going across there. On the intersection of Washington, Fifth Avenue and some, used to be a big Christmas tree there that the city bought and decorated, a live Christmas tree. Then they found out that didn't work, the semis going by, so they moved it over onto A Street, Fifth Avenue. That's where they put it. That's what Arc City used to do. So, and on the sides where we got all the decorations now with the angels and the snowflakes, you have like, fake Christmas trees up there on the light poles and everything. I mean, it was phenomenal. I mean, it was one of the best lit Christmas cities in the state of Kansas.
Well, I wonder if
Wichita didn't even compare to it.
Well, what I was really disappointed when they used to have these Christmas trees that were green and had different colored lights on it. And then I loved those. Those were my favorite as a kid. And then they sold them to Newkirk. So I'd go down to Newkirk to look at them.
We have a lot of organizations that I do think would donate their kids or, like 4-H, FFA, that are looking for community service projects. Look at this one for, Sacred Heart. They're looking for a project. These school organizations, they have kids.
There's always the scouts.
And
They've sure
scouts,
like they
yeah,
come in the
churches.
park.
I think we could get people, if we had the material or maybe even just thought through the process a little bit more of decorating the town through the holidays with the garland and things like that. I think we could get organizations to come in and that be their service project for the year to help run, set everything down.
Different businesses downtown. If we could maybe have a contest or something.
It seems like Jill needs to be here for this talk because wouldn't Visit Our City be right in there? I mean,
Well, I had asked Artie if we could do the poll thing for Christmas time, where the businesses can just decorate, no prizes, just decorate a pole, just make it Christmassy. Have a theme, make it angel, make it just Christmas in
Didn't
general.
they do something like that with our halal? It seemed like they were.
Yeah. we
They
did.
Scare.
scary.
There's a precedence for that kind of.
Yeah, but anything like that. And then we had, but to me, if you decorate, even if you just decorate the front of the park, as passersby, just have something all lit up. Wow, it's just a wow factor.
You could string lights from tree to tree that nobody can get to because they're up too high.
But again, you got the issue of wiring and
Yeah.
plugging and how long the cords have to
Yeah,
be.
but
I'm still thinking 1 or 2 spotlights on one big thing. Start with spotlights would be like relatively
They
easy.
you have to
go
decide,
after that.
Merry Christmas. Just big old sign with a Merry Christmas, and then put a tree on each end.
If it was something sparkly, you wouldn't have to have lights. Just something that shines.
I'll tell you how Arc City used to do it back in the 60s, then even in the 70s. Arc City would ask for donations and they would advertise it. All the businesses downtown, and whether you was the downtown business or whether you was out, like what Dad has his business out north of town, everybody donated to the Christmas fund. And the Christmas fund had 3 categories. If you donated from $10 to $25, you had the Scrooge classification. And then after that, the top one was the Santa Claus, and that was $100 or higher. And a lot of the businesses would go in there. You just didn't see very many Scrooges in there. But the businesses would donate it, and this is when our Kansas City downtown was packed business. Everybody was down there. So it generated $4,000 to $5,000 is what I'm guessing per year. You take that back in the 60s, that was a lot of money.
It's a lot of decorations, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think she's talking about the spirit thing. I think some things like that build spirit better than just having a bulldog and a tiger
Mhm.
sign.
Yep.
Because if it's something people
Community.
I mean, I've seen that in the park, which was made my heart so happy because it didn't start out that way. But once I started getting like the scouts, people like that to come, it brought a whole bunch of diverse people that had nothing else in common except that.
Tell them about when you and Joe were hammered.
Oh, yeah, the families, we were eating in the parking lot of Brahms, and I said, what are all those people doing over there in the garden? I was about ready to get out of the truck and go over there and yell at him, and he said, I think we're getting family pictures taken. And they were.
Really?
They had a photographer, and they would be mom and dad pictures and then kid pictures, and everybody was taking turns. And they were in that little garden area. And it was a Hispanic family, which made me even happier because we want it to be that. And I thought, little things like that,
Make it all worthwhile.
that's what we need for the spirit, I think, is to get different kinds of people involved. So I think the fun thing you're talking about, Mike, I think that sounds, if we could get the stores to, problem is everybody needs donations.
Yeah.
I'm taking donations. The Salvation Army's taking donations. Everybody needs donations. So
But we put it out there like that for the donations for the Christmas spirit type thing, and have different categories, and maybe like $100 or less Scrooge.
I like it.
And I mean, it used to raise a lot of money, but I agree with her, the spirit's gone down big time. Well, when I was in high school.
It's gone down with the
Do
income.
we have any funds for this group, or for this board? No.
It's just, anything that we can.
I would say something like this probably needs chamber and visit our city,
Yeah,
their push,
Mhm.
and Main Street too.
since none of this has to do with handicap, and I'm already late to something else, I'm gonna go, but thank you for letting me come, and if you have any handicap issues, let me
The
know.
other thing was on Wolf's Park, the stage behind, there's a closet area behind the stage that we use for Takalala, and the dancers all get changed back there and stuff. So we didn't know it was possible to sheetrock it and like kind of make it a little bit more user friendly. Maybe some like wrap, like a clothing wrap or something, so they can hang their costumes and have a space to like change during Takalala.
Because this is gonna be an ongoing thing. As long as we have Takalala, we're gonna keep doing it at Wilson Park, and it's gonna keep going every year.
Yeah. Some guy was talking to me back. Yeah, the Eagle badge.
Yeah. Here it is.
Changing.
I'm not ready. But are they gonna do, talking
I
about it
don't
and
know.
saying
I know.
it?
He asked me if that was possible. I can't.
Gary
Yeah.
Hill, yeah, because he said that they can help with, I don't remember if he was gonna donate stuff, or if you guys bought the stuff, that they would put it up. They can help with it.
That would be
I've been
something
meaning
we would
to
have
tell
to
you,
do.
thanks for your hard work.
It would be
I
basically.
saw you there.
I'm going tomorrow if the wind's not blowing. It's supposed to get into the 60s.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's so much.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I had my back, just, I can't. I can only give it a few hours a day, and I just can't.
Garbage.
I'm slack on it, so.
And I can't breathe on windy days. I catch all that, so.
But I'm gonna do it.
You know,
I think when I come tomorrow, and it's supposed to be in the 60s if it's not windy. So, anybody would like to work at the park tomorrow in the afternoon? Come on.
It's kind of boring.
Sorry,
But
guys.
I have heard a lot from her, but she doesn't really have a lot
yes,
to. But I mean, she's trying to soothe my feel now. Okay. So we need to talk to Gary about, or,
About that.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we can do whatever. I can do whatever that is, that's no problem. You guys come up with what you want. Gary, what to do. Somehow squeeze it in there. Don't take the funds.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'll talk with Gary and see if there's something, I don't know if he's wanting to do that or if that's even something the city would allow him to do or.
I think it would allow him for an Eagle badge to,
Well, they let, what's her name on the underpass thing, or all that. I won't mention who, what's her name is, but the person.
Yeah.
Marshall and Christopher.
I don't know, Zip. Yeah, I don't see why they would.
oh yeah, he said something about a couple of dressing, like, you got in the little stores doing dressing booths.
As soon as they be done, they'd have to get a permit, waive the permit fee. That way we're inspecting it, make sure it's still structurally sound. Don't want somebody laying up against the wall and falling down.
Right.
Okay. So we'll get that going.
Thank you. Thank you all for everything. Let me,
Welcome to the
Yeah.
open meeting.
Next meeting, I'll let you know.
thank you.
These were some great ideas.
Thank you. Now I got something for y'all.
Oh, but
By the way, I'm Nancy Holman.
Hi, Nancy. I'm Debbie Savala.
Are you any relation to Carmen?
All right.
I went to school with Carmen.
No, I, Mary Helen Savala and Mendoza. That's the relationship.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I have.
Got their, yeah, they,
Yeah, just the Sacred Heart thing. Since Robin's not here, I'll just kind of go over what I heard. I got an email after the meeting that we had in October. I sent an email back to Kristen Munson and told her what you talked about at the meeting.
That's what the
And
represents.
thanks.
basically, she just wants direction. What that group could do. I think they're pretty open to whatever. They probably would have been a good group to help, like you said earlier, the Christmas stuff.
Oh, they help like on park cleanup, so, can they help like on park cleanup?
Anytime, yeah.
What do y'all think about that? Throw some time in on that.
Fun, it's already December 1st.
Yeah, she just said that, and unfortunately, Thursdays at 1 o'clock is always when she's in court, so she can't be here. But she says they just need a description of what they're gonna do. They try to do at least one act of service per month. So they're not asking for a lot.
Take the stickers out in the park.
Now we're asking a lot.
Nickname of that park was Sticker Park for a long time. Sandburst looks.
Oh, here's what I wrote back to her. The board expressed some interest in working with Sacred Heart on a project at Wilson Park in the spring, perhaps on Earth Day. That was what was discussed back in October. Yeah, I'll be over there.
Connie, we took down 2 or 3 trees out of Wilson Park.
Yes, we have.
Could we replant a tree and have them kids help us do that? We replant a tree and they like have the kids help or something.
We're getting ready to take out a few more, there, but it's sidewalks, so I mean,
So that's what you're
you're gonna take out your pine cones.
That's good because it shelters the snow and rain and stuff, so it's always wet over there. Are you gonna put the fence back up on the west side?
I'm assuming we are, yeah. Probably just, what, a 4-foot fence.
In the middle would be okay, but usually if they do that, it's about 10 feet in that they have the high fence, and then they might have the low fence with a gate or something in the middle. I think they do that at Whitfield.
Yeah. We're just still working on everything right there. What are you saying? You want a 10-foot fence coming out the side?
Well, kind of like a U shape. The high fence is a U shape, and then just in the middle of the court where you don't really hit the angles that wide, but near the back, 4 feet wouldn't be high enough. I'd still have a lot of balls going in the street or out into the park. So if they kind of curve around about 10 feet and still have about 10 feet high or whatever.
Okay, because we still got some of that fence.
Do we know if we have any more of those decorations that you were talking about in the city?
Back in the 60s.
I mean, like, yeah, anything. Do we?
Oh, those are sold, gone, deteriorated, and done.
Okay.
Yeah, those are done away with a long time. Yeah, if we did something like that, like the tinsel or the wreaths going across the intersections and that kind of stuff would have to end up on. That's where donation would come in.
You know, we should draw a design that we want to shoot for, and then show that when you ask for donation.
Yeah, I like that idea.
But I do know why they quit doing them across, because the semi trucks going down Main Street, they take those bells out, they'd actually take the whole string around. So they eventually just did away with it. But
Well,
they
they
had that there for years.
They don't really come through with the bypass now, do they?
Not supposed to.
They do, but
Unless they're delivering downtown, that's the only exception. If they're delivering downtown. If they're going through, some street just to miss the bypass or something like that, but and a cop's behind, they'll pull them over and give them to you.
Well,
I think your idea though is you want to just make sure all those are as high as you possibly can.
Yep.
You can get the thing, the bottom area to be above like 12 or 13 feet, you probably.
Well, see, there used to be still 6-inch poles at the intersections there, and they were up, guys, probably 12 feet up. And that's what they struggled across to have. But all those poles are gone now, I think, aren't they?
well, on bridges
All
and
those
stuff,
out
they
there.
put a limit of height.
Yeah, that's kind of, I imagine those poles, if there was any evidence of them, they disappeared when the streetscape was done.
They were all taken out.
They should go down A or A Street anyway. They're not Summit. You could put a truck detour.
So they did when
Really,
what was it? When when the roundabout was being built out here. And when we had Arcalá, they all went on to 8th Street.
yeah, they took it down through 8th Street.
They're fine, it worked.
Yeah, trying to think of that town up right before you hit Manhattan. If you go down there now, there's a Christmas tree right in the middle of the intersection of Main Street. Right there. They've always done it for years.
I think I know that town, but I can't think of it.
So,
Mike, you don't need me anymore.
Connie, thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
now that sign, that picture you got, that sign, that's the only one they got. That's the one that's left.
Okay.
It's kind of in disrepair of that painting. So they're gonna get a sign and they want me to make something like that again. They'll wait till springtime and get it done right now.
What do you think about going ahead and making frames? Anybody like one extra frame?
I can do that if they'll get the same size sign.
We'll make sure that it's the same size.
Okay.
Yeah, you get any bigger than that, it's there's 2 bulbs, so we get any smaller than that, it's not noticeable.
Yeah.
What do you got, all that same size for that,
For what?
for a yard of the month?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Connie was gonna go ahead and make another frame, that way we got it ready to go. Because the last one was tore up so bad.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
I don't know what the frame and stuff.
Connie, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Enjoy your cocoa.
Yeah, how about that? I thought just coming here to sit around and do nothing.
Thank you, pleasure.
But anyway, that's a couple ideas I just thought of, have the kids help plant a tree, and clean the parks, that kind of stuff. Whatever everybody thinks, that's just.
Where they're cutting the trees down on Summit, what are they gonna do with those empty spots?
You're gonna, what is that bush that we're planting instead of the trees?
It's a crab apple.
Craig Mel, Merle,
Craig
Craig
Mel.
Merle.
You're gonna
Yeah.
put
Okay,
It's over the city.
the root system is as dressing as those trees are.
Yeah.
Those trees would get into,
dragon.
They used to have, you don't
into the water lines too.
Oh, yeah.
That's the problem, water lines get broke too.
Is he where is he talking about? Taking those trees out?
But Wilson Park, he took them out of Wilson Park. He took 2 or 3 hour break, they got like 2 more.
I just have to go by there and see what
They're dead anyway.
Yeah, they are. They're probably more than just 2 more that's dead in there.
Oh, they're all dead along there, yeah. They need to come out. They just cause problems.
But it's not like we don't have enough parks to keep those kids busy. We want them to.
But there's
Well,
a-
that's what's nice about potential around Earth Day or Arbor Day or something.
That way we meet our Arbor Day.
Yes.
Regulations and everything too.
But there's also the tree on the north side of the course they took out a
Yeah, we
couple
can
months
buy
ago.
a traveler down there to take a picture of the kids working.
They're always looking for some content.
Yeah, we can do that, and we can advertise for everybody. They will
What
have
about
people down
decorating
down
the pavilion?
child labor law.
They got plug-ins in it.
What's that?
Decorating the pavilion, they've got plug-ins and whatnot there, we can start there.
Yeah. Yeah, put a big reef right up there in the pavilion. That look cool.
Well, I like the idea of each intersection, like you said before, each intersection was in the downtown, just made it feel a lot. I love that. I think our downtown is pushing towards that kind of growth. And I think if we can make that feel more,
It's regressing back to where it used to be.
yeah,
Back to the good old days.
Yeah,
What are you laughing about?
Good old.
They were.
we need to make it feel that homey feel again.
The good old days, that you wasn't rushed to have to do anything. It took you time, but you did it correctly. Nowadays, you're rushed to get it done, and then they wonder, why isn't this working? No. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I think we need to come up with some good seasonal
But
things for our downtown
Yeah.
and start that fundraising.
like Josh said, definitely have to have the height for the semis. But, we could do an if we get enough money saved up, and if we don't the first year, take that money and add it to the second year.
Yeah,
And do one intersection
yeah.
and grow from that point on. The,
Central would probably be the best one to start with.
Yeah.
Because
Because it's the park.
and then, get that, don't have to have the bells up there or anything like that, but you can have like the Santa Claus in the front, in the middle of it. Realistically, Christ in the manger would be great, because that's what Christmas is all about. But, by the time you buy that, that's all lit up and everything, you're probably looking at a pretty healthy price tag, but don't have to all do it in one day, in one season. You can one intersection, one season, and then say the next season or the next season after that, do another intersection.
Build it
Eventually,
up,
the whole town's done.
I doubt that those that you're talking about are all reasons.
No, there ain't no way. If we did just the 6-inch poles in there, they're probably looking at $6,000-7,000 on just that, not including labor, just the metal, poles on.
So you're saying overhead is where your lights would be for the manger and everything?
Yeah, what it is, that's what they kind of look like. You had poles right here,
Mhm.
right across there. Then what they did, they had a cable that went straight across there.
Mhm.
But then the tinsel would hook onto here to the power and everything. It would come down and drop down a little bit to the center, then come back down again.
Yeah.
Up there, and right here, what used to be would be a big bell.
Mhm.
That this was two small bells like this.
Oh,
That's what it used to look like back in the day, back in the good old days.
Good old days.
But see, I've also seen them too, I can't remember which channel it was. They've had them like Santa Clauses on both sides, where they had it go crushed in a manger right here. And that was all with them.
oh.
They had a little cooler than that.
Mhm.
That's what it used to look like. Then on the poles downtown, they actually had, the Christmas trees like this.
How do you
Yeah.
anchor the poles?
They were anchored to these poles. But what they did,
To the light poles?
to the light poles,
Mhm.
that was a Christmas tree that was lit up. And then right in the center, on, like I said, on Fifth Avenue and Summer Street, was used to be the huge, probably 15-foot Christmas tree sticking up in the light. And like I said, they moved it over on 8th Street. Yeah,
Then it disappeared.
Huh?
Then it stopped happening at all.
yeah, they just couldn't do it at all. Yeah. Well, Fifth Avenue and 8th Street actually had a flashing light. It was yellow going north and south, and it was red going east and west. And it hung right in the middle.
That's the library intersection.
Library, yeah, a library. Yeah, it is a library. I'm thinking it's the old library.
Was the
Post
post office?
office.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of what it used to look like, though.
Yeah, I think that would go a long way to raising the spirits.
It would, and to just getting downtown businesses to donate. And I mean, not just downtown, but every business in our Kansas City.
Yeah, because they all benefit.
They all do, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
why the chamber group done good for that.
That's where, I've heard people say, well, I can only afford $100, $100 ain't gonna be nothing. Well, yeah,
Yeah, it is.
you're correct on that, but if you give 100, Ursula gives 100, she gives 100, everybody gives 100, pretty soon we got, $500. And everybody, it just adds up, it's a domino effect. But I agree with Savala, the spirits shot.
What was her first name? Mary?
Debbie,
Betty?
Debbie.
Debbie. I'm supposed to get my hearing aids.
Charlie.
I don't know her husband. All right, yeah. Sorry, no. Back to
Well, I motion that we adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Okay, yeah, reminder, the 26th of January is today.